Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast channel. On tonight's episode, Fabio and Steve are going to get deep into the Milan and Juve result. Seeing red, was Ciao and was that card a little too harsh? We'll talk about it. We're also going to be talking about all things Serie A, the rest of the match day 9 results. Is Juve now a title contender? We're going to talk more. MWP Serie A fantasy results we're going to go through. We got our Patreon questions. We also got busted Calcio tweets. We got so much. It's a full house. Lots of emotions. Obviously, Vinny's out. I'm here. Stevie, I know you ready, baby.
Let's go.
Let's
Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Milan fans all over the world, with your hosts, Vinny T and Stevie P.
Benvenuti nella casa della
Giroud in area, si gira, sinistro, rete, gol capolavoro di Olivier Giroud.
Mignon with another magical save.
Hernandez, coast to coast, del numero 19.
Leao carica il mancino. Eccolo qua, Rafa Leao.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Milan Weekly Podcast. As Vinny would say, cari amici sportivi, welcome here where we talk all things Milan with no bullshit, no fluff. We get straight to the points. Stevie, Fabio here in for Vinny. Steve, how you doing this evening, man?
You know what, Fabio? Fantastic. Fantastic, because we're talking Milan. We're talking everything Milan. You know, Vinny's out sick. That's okay. That's what friends and teammates are for. Someone steps up. We cover each other. I love it. I want to talk Milan, and I'm pissed off.
All right. And as Vinny would say, because we can't go a show without making a wrestling reference, he tagged me in and I came over the rope. All right, Vinny, Stevie, so let's start, man, because there's no time to waste. Let's get to it. Milan Juve yesterday. We know what we were coming into, right? There was going to be no Theo Hernandez. Mignon was suspended. Let's talk about it. How were your emotions going into this game? Did you feel confident? I mean, international break and all?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say confident. I felt like we had to play our best because of that international break. Mm-hmm. And I think Juve was coming in, as the away team, and they did exactly what I thought that they were going to do. You saw the thumbnail from the podcast. You saw what Fabio put up for everybody. They parked the bus with the crappiest and the shittiest Juventus starting 11 that I've seen in the longest time. And we were chatting with Vinny and the guys at the bar. I know why people hated us during the banter era. Because we lined up 11 shit houses exactly like that and got points off people. So I was pissed off, Fabio. And that's why I put park the bus and I put our starting 11 there, because I was disappointed. I don't know about you. From the get-go, I didn't have a problem with Manya not being there. I had, like I said the last time, a problem with Theo Hernandez not being there. But again, we can talk about it. We're going to continue talking about it. We did ourselves no favors. We got played.
We did. We definitely did. And the thing that bothers me is that you can't really see this game without talking about the red card, because it is the turning moment. We were completely in control. Giroud has the best opportunity we get the whole game. And, I mean, just by the fingertips of Chesney, he doesn't get a goal. I mean, that's really our only glaring moment, right? When we talk about the first 40 minutes of the game, that is the opportunity we needed to bury. It didn't happen. But Child's red card, did you think it was too harsh or it's warranted?
No, that's a warranted red card, Fabio. And you know what? It brings us back to the Genoa game where a similar type of scenario happened, causing Mike Maignan to come out, Mike Maignan to get a red card, which that one I thought was harsh.
Yeah.
I don't know why we have the defensive breakdowns, right? And, we were talking, and, thank you to everybody. A little shout out to Chocharos and everybody who came out to watch the game yesterday with Milan Club Montreal. It was nice to see everybody. We were talking, and again, I coach my son's soccer team, right? And we teach them arm's length away from the defender. Look, guys, Moise Kean is not Mbappe here, guys. But Chow being so close to Moise Kean, and again, I'm gonna shit a little bit on the CBS guys, because the CBS guys on their small clip that I saw were saying that Kean with a great turn, and Kean didn't touch the ball. Kean didn't touch the ball. That's
Chow slips.
Chow slips
and he grabs him.
Doesn't he's too close. He has to react to the ball that's going behind him, and pulls him down. Now, I don't know where Tomori was, and usually, we were talking about this with a couple of guys at the bar. We saw Kier and Tomori, that partnership where Kier would be beaten one-on-one, and then Tomori would come in and save the day and be that safety net, that one-on-one battle that we lost. Tomori would clean that up. Well, he wasn't there, right? And Maignan is not there, and Mirante is not going to come out and make that let's say libero or sweeper style clearance. Anyways, we're way too far. We're leaving way too much space behind us. But this one, I got to give it on Chow. This is defending 101, guys. Nico from the Milan Patreon put up his own little YouTube channel now. We're gonna shout it out as soon as I remember what it's called. And it's simple defending 101, where you need to leave some space. You need to be able to understand who's in front of you. And again, this is something that we're killing ourselves, Fabio, and that's the frustrating part. But we're killing ourselves, and at the same point, I'm telling you, Fabio, I'm gonna ask you this: did we look like we were dangerous anyways? I thought we were just going through the motion. We're going to the wings, and we're trying to cross it in. We're going to the wings, and we're trying to cross it in. We need to be more direct. We need to be more assertive in that final third, especially Leao, especially Pulisic when he's on. I don't know, Fabio. I'm throwing it back to you, and with a little caveat. Did you like that Pulisic change?
No, absolutely not. I felt that Drew's only moment was the chance that he got. After that, he was pretty much non-existent. So changing Pulisic, and again, you heard it on the CBS stuff, the American point of view of this game with Musa and Pulisic, with Weah and McKennie on the other side, to have Pulisic immediately taking off because of, having to adjust and leaving Giroud up there. I don't know. To me, I thought it was strange. But then Jovic came in later, which I thought was even stranger. So I don't quite understand what Pioli was doing with his substitutions. But again, I can't blame him for a player making a mistake that he shouldn't have made. Chow, that's like I guess like a growing pain. This is something because he's still very immature. He's young. These plays are going to happen. But kind of echoing like what you said, where is Tomori cleaning up those moments? I think it was just one of those moments he was already up the field, and it caught them by but again, Florenzi's playing next to him, not even Dale. We're the crosses were terrible. I mean, it's like they didn't have the creativity this game. They just thought all we're going to get are these crosses, but nothing was remotely close. We needed more from Leao, honestly.
We did need more from Leao, and we needed him to step up a bit, just to be a little bit more dangerous. I would have liked to see, maybe Giroud off instead of Pulisic. Leave Leao and Pulisic up there running around. I find, again, Adli just too much on the ball, having too much of the ball. I'd rather see Reindeers have more of the ball than Adli, to be honest with you. And, Reindeers, it's a couple of times now, and I'm going to call him out. He's visible, for certain moments of the game and then invisible. And that's a big problem with someone who's as talented as him, is we need him visible. And when he's invisible, he exposes the other two that he's partnering in the midfield. And that causes a problem for someone like Musa, who's, similar to Kessie, right? We like Musa because he's a ball recuperating dog. He just loves to get the ball back, right? And he's decent with his feet, but the more you keep the ball at his feet, the more he's going to be make mistakes, and the more we're going to be calling him out, right? And I found that today, against Juve, he was exposed a bit. But
honestly, I think the whole midfield looked bad.
Yeah.
They were not good. That was one of my notes. I was like, midfield, no good. Even Musa, I'm sorry. Like, I know I'm the American over the top, but Musa's 20 years old, but this is possibly one of his worst games, just from what I saw with us so far. But
yeah, and you know what? We touched on Florenzi. I didn't think Florenzi was that bad. I didn't think Calabria was that bad. I think Juve offered nothing going forward, even when we were at 10 men. Even when we were at 10 men, Fabio, I don't think Juve was interested. I don't think they were going to score, Fabio. I didn't think they were going to score.
I didn't think they were either. And that's a perfect segue, because eventually we do make subs. We've already mentioned that Pulisic had to come out for Kalulu. Then we also made substitutions. We got, for some reason, Jovic and Krunic came in. Krunic has to get his time. Pioli loves him. And then the final two subs were Kier and Romero, which, in all honesty, as nice as Romero looked for a few minutes that he was on, nothing really happened. But what do you like? Locatelli gets a shot, which I think is not even getting close to the net.
No.
And Krunic asses it into the way, and poor Morante, he's already going to the right and it's going to the left.
So I was so mad when that shot went in, Fabio, because I was convinced that Locatelli shot was hitting someone in the crowd. I don't think it was even on net. And they're gonna say that the Gazzetta needs to write it because we have to hype up Juve. He scored against Juve in 2000 and whatever, and now he comes back to Milan and he scores. No, he didn't score. It's an own goal. Let's call it what it is. Let's mark it as an own goal. He still hasn't scored since January of 2003. So let's stop with the Juve propaganda, and it's enough, Fabio, because they did nothing. Even when Vlahovic came on, yes, he had that one shot and Mirante made the save. But when Chiesa came on, I didn't feel like they really did more than they needed to. A typical Allegri performance, even at 10 men.
And Mirante did have to make 3 saves in the last, the 86th minute, there's a big shot that he saves. And then the 92nd minute, he gets 2, like back to back. So shout out to Mirante for actually having the moment where Juve decided to start playing, because they brought Chiesa in, Vlahovic was out there then. All of a sudden, they decided they wanted to play in the last 5 minutes.
Absolutely, Fabio. That's a really good point. I know he had to make those saves, but at 10 men, you start playing at the 92nd minute. Like, I don't think that's the way Juve wants to play. I know no one's gonna remember that, right? So everybody's gonna remember that we lost the 3 points. It's gone. It's bothering me because the first was the shellacking against Inter, deserved. And now this one here, we did it to ourselves. And this is what's bothering me, because besides Kalulu, everybody else that got subbed on didn't really add to the mission of getting a goal back. Right?
Yeah.
Romero, it's his first, I don't know, because Juve starts the young Holland player. Does Pioli feel like he needs to start Romero in this game? Like they bring in Romero as a sub? I'm not getting, like, we haven't seen Romero in the longest time. Why now when you need a goal and a man down, where that's not going to be his game, right?
Why do you think Okafor was not even an option?
I don't know. That's the shocking portion of it, because instead of Jovic, I would have liked to have seen Okafor. Maybe change it up a bit. Maybe, we've tried to see Leao up on top, but, with 10 men, you're putting 2 up front, right? You're playing
Yeah.
that 4-2-4-3-2. So let's put, two speedsters up there. Once you take out Giroud from the equation, let's put in two guys because Jovic is not giving us anything, Fab.
No, and I can understand if we can all just come to an agreement, maybe even Pioli needs to say this publicly, that this guy was a last minute buy, okay? He was just a roster spot to be filled. He should not be getting this kind of quality game time when you spent 20 something million or whatever, 13 million on Okafor. Give him the chance to play. But supposedly maybe he was still injured from that car crash or whatever happened to him during the international break that he missed all the time with Switzerland too.
You might be 100% right. I completely forgot about that. But if you're sitting on the bench, you should be able to play. If you're not able to play, don't sit him on the bench. Sit someone else. Put in someone of the Primavera. Everybody else is not scared, Fabio, to put in people from the Primavera. For Milan, only Milan is scared to start people from the Primavera. It's getting a little bit frustrating because, again, this Juve sucked, Fabio. I cannot say it enough. And I take this podcast, send it to all the Juventini that you know, and ask them, besides the win, are you happy with this Juve? No. If they say yes, they're not Juventini. No?
It's true. It's true. My Parino, he would say that he hates this Juve. He hates the way they play. It like hurts to watch this kind of soccer.
And I'm not saying that Milan is the next coming of the Invincibles from back in the day. We have our own problems.
Yeah,
but we play a better brand of football than what they're playing, obviously. And they did nothing, guys. This is a fluke. It's luck, and sometimes you do need luck. And I'm not discrediting the win. The win is a win. You're gonna get the 3 points. But what I'm frustrated about, and Fabio, I need you to get angry with me here.
Oh, I'm angry.
There's all the Juventini out there. All the Juventini out there, we're back. Are we Scudetto contenders? But you're not even close to the Scudetto. You shouldn't even be touching the Scudetto. You shouldn't be allowed to touch anything that's part of the Scudetto. It's disgusting. Your brand of football is disgusting. You fielded terrible players. The ones that did something for you were injured and came on after. But you have no goddamn style of play. It's disgusting. It's ugly. It's ugly.
It was. As bad as we played, especially with those moments, red card, and not being able to do anything, they are even uglier, but they churned out the victory and they did it on us. That's what's really upsetting. That, like, not only could we had the game completely in control, it just, one little misstep and everything goes off the rails. And it's just upsetting that, again, we're doing it, it's a big game. So many people keeping an eye on this one because of, obviously, Americans on the team, yada, yada. They're both, Milan's at the top. Juve needs the win. And now we let them in the title race. I'm asking that question. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but when you see them on the table, Juve's not good. And the brand that they play is ugly. It's ugly. But they got another victory and they did it against us. These are the moments, Steve, right? Sometimes you only get 1 or 2 chances in a game, and you have to bury them if you're a championship team. You see, as much as I want to pray that this is the second star season, there's moments like this that Pioli better nip it in the butt because it's happened Champions League games, now in the Campionato. We need these points. And if we would have scored it first, come on, Drew, pass it. There's a right winger now. It's not Messias or Salamakis. Give Pulisic the ball. It's a tap in, nice and easy, but it doesn't go, and everything goes off the fucking rails after that.
Yeah. And you brought up a good point, and we'll talk about TV ratings and contracts after for a little digestivo to our fantastic podcast. But what a shit game to show, though, huh? Like, 2 Americans on Milan. Salud. 2 Americans on Juve, a primetime game on Sunday.
What a This is what you want to advertise.
You can advertise that, Fabio. That's the thing that's a bit unlucky on Serie A too. Because if this would have been an EPL game, it would have been fireworks. There would have been a red card. There would have been another red card. There would have been a 4-3 game. There would have been post. There would have been action. And Serie A lines up this crazy game for a prime time to show and broadcast across the world for half the people to fall asleep because it was terrible. It was a terrible game.
It would have been 0-0 if it didn't deflect off somebody's ass. Is it? What a way to think about it. Let me just mention, I know this game wasn't good, but if you had to give somebody your top and flop for this one, who would be your top at least?
We talked about it a little bit, and I think I would give my top to Florenzi, to be very honest. I think he did what he had to do. He played he's someone like, that Krunic style where we can put him on the right, we can put him on the left, you can put him as a wing back, and he's old. He's the oldest, almost one of the oldest players on the pitch, and I think he gave everything that he gave everything that he could give. He couldn't give more than that. We're asking for Florenzi to give us the maximum against Juve. That's a major problem, Fabio. So my top goes to him because, he was able even to distribute some balls. He gave one ball at a certain point. I was like, who is that? And, the commentator said it's Florenzi. I said, no. I had to rewind and watch it again. And it was him. So it's not that one ball. I think it's everything that he gave to the game. He understands the moment. He understands that we're playing against Juve. And I don't think anybody else besides him understood the magnitude of this game.
Yeah, true. Very true. For me, my top goes to the oldest guy that was on the field. Mirante, 40 years young, but he's out there. And honestly, he did everything asked to him except obviously the deflected shot. What can you do? You're already going one direction. That's not his fault. But the 3 saves he made in the last 10 minutes of the game, that to me, I thought that was good. If this is what Juventus will give us, we should have kept Colombo. Absolutely. I agree with that. Flop, though. Who's the worst of the worst? I mean, I guess it's got to be Chow.
Yeah, if we remove Chow from the equation, I spoke about it earlier. I think Adli just has too much of the ball. Reindeer is too invisible. And Musa, I could pick any one of those 3 to be my flop, to be honest, Joe.
Yeah. I agree. I said it earlier. The midfield just in total is terrible. Very surprising because this is what I would have said. Let's go with them out of the available guys. You could see how much Loftus-Cheek not being there, having an option to go to him is really hurting because Pobega didn't see any time. And Krunic, of course, you knew he was going to come in. Whether he was 100% healthy, I mean, he's on the roster. He's ready to play. What can we do?
Same like we said about Okafor, right? If you're ready and you're on the roster, you should be ready to play. Krunic was obviously not ready to play, and I'm not going with the own goal. That's a freak. That's it's a twitch. It's something that any defender is gonna try to get a leg on that. It's hard. It's like in hockey, try to get your stick out of the shooting lane. It's very hard. But everything else, Fabio, was disgusting. Like there was errant passes, there was 1-2 passes with Juventus players. Someone had to remind him that he's playing for Milan, and the way he came on didn't look like he was ready for. Again, I'm repeating it, the magnitude of this game. We get lost in how important these games are against the Juve, Milan, Napoli, Roma, and so on and so forth. Lazio's, Inter. These are important games that, they create momentum, they create showstoppers, they create, space between 2 clubs where, you can make a mistake later on. And hey, we have Champions League this week, playing a PSG that has its own problems.
Very true. All right. I don't even want to talk about the game on Wednesday yet because I don't know if I'm mentally ready for it because again, we haven't scored one thing. They're already saying Pobega's starting. I don't know where to go with all that kind of news, but let's move on to our next. This This segment is brought to you by Fubu Canada, the home of Serie A and the Coppa Italia. Subscribe to Fubu Canada to get all your Calcio needs. Stevie, let's talk match day 9 here, recaps. We'll start, of course, with the defending champions, Napoli. They pretty much wiped the floor with Verona here. Verona's goal didn't come until they were already 3-0 down. Kvaratskhelia, whatever the hell his name is, scored 2 goals. KK. I always add one extra K, and that gets me in trouble. All right, so Kvaratskhelia, whatever his name is, he scores 2 goals. A pretty decent comeback. Rudy Garcia can survive another week, right?
Yeah, the architect, the engineer that we call him, he did not fool around with his plan this week for Naples. They did really, wipe the floor with Verona. They were not anywhere close to near Napoli's quality. Napoli move on with the 3 points.
So the next one, of course, Inter getting the 3 points early against Torino, 3-0. Great little segment, though, if you saw while they were panning in front of the kids, the kid with the Inter jersey pulled it up. He started kissing the Torino badge.
Brioshki of the week is that little kid. He did it.
I loved it. That was good. But Inter winning 3-0. Turam scored and Martinez again, and then Hakan got a penalty at the end.
Yeah, Hakan's good for my Fantacalcio. Everybody else, Inter shows that you can make a mistake, you can come back, and look what happens, right? Easy 3 points against Torino, while Milan shoots themselves in the foot, and the table flip-flops once again.
Yeah. Lazio go and visit Sassuolo, and they end up winning 2 goals by Anderson and Alberto. Pretty much put this game away early in, I believe, in the first 50 minutes of the game, 20-something, and then 50th minute was over. Did you see any of the Lazio game?
Yeah, watch the Lazio game. Again, I think it's 2 teams that are pretty much Jekyll and Hyde. This time, Lazio looked like they were up for the challenge against Sassuolo. Strangely, Sassuolo at home is really a hit or miss, right? And, it seems like no one was there. It seemed like Berardi didn't look like he was anywhere close to being involved in this game. A very strange game, to be honest, Joe. Not seeing Immobile on that Lazio team is a bit strange. And coming in, and for all the Fantacalcio guys out there, being sottovalutato, meaning that not even counted in the ratings, is a bit strange. But
that's
Luis Alberto looked good again. I think Lazio, if they keep their head on straight, will challenge for that top 4, but they need to keep their head on straight.
Definitely. Well, they needed those 3 points. They got them. And, of course, the other Roman team, Roma, got a 1-0 victory over Monza. But this one had fireworks at the end. El Shaarawy was crying after he scored. Then they also had a red card, Monza, earlier in the game. So they played the whole second half a man down. Did you see Shaarawy crying?
So
he was overcome with emotion.
I saw El Shaarawy cry, and I kind of honestly felt bad for him, Fabio, right? If he's someone who was falsely accused by Corona, our new favorite enemy, and I have to say, I felt for him a bit, right? I felt a lot of relief for him. I can't understand why Mourinho continues to choose games before his Inter reunion to get red carded, so he doesn't have to face them. Seems like it's a yearly thing. But besides that, Roma didn't really look good, even with Monza down to 10 men. So it took a late winner for them, but they pick up the 3 points once again. Fabio, no one's gonna remember all this.
No, exactly.
Just 3 points. So.
They'll remember El Shaarawy crying because he scored. But next game, this is one you could have took a nice nap right through the first half, even some of the second half. But if you woke up with the last 15 minutes of the game, woo, you got to 2-2, Salernitana and Cal. These are the teams battling here at the bottom.
These are the best games, though. You have to sit through them. You have to watch them, but they're games that you never think they're going to finish 2-2. And after, like you said, you watch the first half, you're tempted to change. And then fireworks.
I mean, it's great, but come on, if you're gonna put that on TV, it can't be 75 minutes of snooze fest. But in the end, it was worth the wait because they fired off all the goals in the last 15 minutes of the game, and it was crazy back and forth. Let's go to the next one. Bologna and Frosinone, excuse me. Bologna 2-1. Any thoughts on this game before we get to Atalanta?
I think Bologna was really good in this game. It
Yeah,
was
2 goals early too.
Yeah, 2 goals early, and then they let they couldn't really kill off the game and let Frosinone back in. But besides that, I think Bologna deserved the 3 points.
All right, so Atalanta now 2-0 over a pesky Genoa team, but again 2 goals in the second half. So Atalanta getting some valuable 3 points, especially.
Job
lately.
done for Atalanta, especially for once we're gonna go down to the last game of this match day.
Obviously, Milan losing 1-0 to Juve. That sucks. We'll move on. Now today, the Monday games, Udinese Lecce 1-1. This one's more that Udine let it go. Lecce is just a team you cannot sleep on, and Udine has been struggling the whole season.
Yeah, Udine finally, Tovan scores a Fantacalcio for me, but not good enough for Udine. Lecce come back, and good on Lecce for not giving up. Udine is pretty tough at home and doesn't let in a lot of goals. Can score, but doesn't let in a lot of goals.
Why do I know that name, Steve? Is that the kid that was playing on Leon?
Who?
And that we were looking for, the guy who scored on Udine.
Tovan?
Yeah, I feel like we're looking at him.
It's very possible. It's very possible. We're always looking at everybody, Fabio.
That's true. Very true. And the last game, which you got to say is a surprise, Empoli going to Fiorentina and winning 2-0.
So I was lucky enough to be able to watch this one this afternoon. Fiorentina were unrecognizable, Fabio.
Wow.
Unrecognizable. Empoli look like they're not going to go down. And I was shocked. And, we'll look at the table after this slide. Empoli looked like they really wanted to play. And it was nice to see, considering some of their recent performances. But I think this is with these 2 goals, I think Empoli scored 3 goals all season. And 2 against Fiorentina. Wow. Fiorentina at home. And Empoli had a mysterious goal disallowed by not even VAR. I don't know why the goal was called back. I wasn't able to follow it all the way through. And they didn't even look that pissed off. But it looked like a good goal. So I was a bit confused. This could have been even more than 2-0.
Just very surprising. Well, now let's go over to the table here. So Inter now in sole possession of first place after we drop to second now with 21 points. Juve climbed up to third with 20 points. Napoli in fourth with Fiorentina tied with them with 17 points. Atalanta round off the top 6. Now at least you see Roma and Lazio in the top 10. They've climbed up the ladder a little bit. And just the bottom 3 at the current moment, Udinese sitting in 18th. Salernitana in 19th with 4 points, and Cagliari the bottom with 3.
My surprise here is obviously seeing Udine in 18th. That's not somewhere where we're used to seeing an Udine team. Good on Monza. We talk about them every year. Another huge surprise is Lecce all the way at 10th.
Yeah,
I'm really liking the way Bologna plays, surprisingly, and happy for them that they're hovering around that top 6. I'm not too surprised about the first 4, to be very honest, Joe. At all.
Yeah, I think most people would have that, but just maybe in different orders.
In a different order, yeah. But I'm surprised that Juve, just because they play once a week, they play crap football, and they still end up in this top 4.
They're still in striking range. Are they a contender, right? That's the question. With 2 points separating them and Inter at the top, you have to say, I mean, everybody's a contender. We're only 9 games in. There's still another, 2/3 of the season to go.
Yeah. Are they a contender? I would say they are, just because they don't have any midweek games.
Yeah.
And I think that allows them to do much more in terms of a personnel rotation or lack of rotation. You don't really need a rotation. For injuries, it gives them a lot more time to for anybody who has a knock, they're waiting a full week before they play again. So I give them the contender. Give them the contender title if you want. But again, I out of the top 6 teams, I think Juve plays the worst football.
I agree.
I'm not even joking. People are gonna think that Steve is trolling. Steve wants to get views and clicks. No, I'm telling you the truth.
No, you're 100%. If Juve fans like what they're seeing when they're winning 1-0 like this, they should be embarrassed because this is not good. This is not good football to watch.
No.
Let me ask you a question. Roma now in 7th, Lazio in 9th. Do you think I know you mentioned Lazio. You want to see them fight for that top 4th spot.
I don't
think they actually have enough to do it, though?
I don't think either have enough to do it. I think they can, they can slot in and maybe replace Fiorentina and Atalanta in 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
But I just don't think they have enough to creep into that. They're both playing European ball. Lazio in Champions League and Roma wherever Confederation
Conference League
Europe,
or whatever, yes.
whatever second tier tournament Roma's playing in. But they do play. So, and Roma goes the way Dybala goes, right? So if Dybala continues to be made of paper, I don't think they have enough, with just Lukaku.
Yeah.
And,
we need both of them.
He put out a fantastic training drill on how to be a striker and miss the net 75% of the time. Fantastic video to watch.
Maybe he thinks he's a baseball player. He can do it like, 1 out of 4 times he'll be an all-star. All right. Segment was brought to you by Fubu Canada, the home of Serie A and Coppa Italia. Check him out. Make sure you subscribe to him. All right, Steve, let's move on here. Before we go on, everybody, you've talked about your Fantacalcio. Everybody, it's the thing to be doing right now. So let's bring it up. See who's mastering
Ciao
MW.
ragazzi, ciao Ale, come stai?
Ciao Presidente, il vero Presidente, come stai te? Tutto bene?
Tutto bene, grazie.
As you see, Ciao Presidente sitting at the top. Peter playing absolutely great. He's got 733 points. Steve, I see one other name there that I recognize. Mr. Our boy from down under, Kim Barini. He's prosciutto, sitting in 7th place. Any other names you recognize?
No, they're fantastic names though, like Chicken Carm. That's a big winner. Love that one. But this Fantacalcio is it's crazy, guys. It's really something that's fun. It's week in, week out. Pick your players, move your players, choose a captain. Good luck on Peter. Good luck to Peter. I hope you stay the whole way. And good luck to Kim. Make your way from down, up, under, up to the top.
There you go. All right, so let's get to our next topic before we get to our Patreon questions. Steve, they brought out numbers about where Serie A stands in the broadcasting earnings, I guess you could say it, right? So the deals here, just what's your thoughts on everything? You see, obviously, we're sitting per season in 4th place compared to the other leagues.
Yeah, so let me just put it into perspective, guys. This is not a chart that we went and we did ourselves, right? We picked it up. It's in English pounds, and it's just to show the difference, right? Are the numbers up until the penny? Guys, we don't know. So before you guys get all your calculator and start bitching at the numbers, it's just to show you the difference. Serie A comes out today and gets a new TV deal locally with DAZN and Sky Sports. They shifted from a 3-year deal to a 5-year deal, which Presidente is telling me straight, hot off the wire, that's just a joke. It's never seen. It's terrible business to do 5-year deals and so on and so forth, right?
Okay.
The other portion of this deal is ADL, right? We talked about it a bit, Fabio, before. ADL did not hesitate coming out and saying that he was disappointed in this deal, disappointed in the fact, and he also said, il calcio di Serie A va morire. Calcio will die.
Yeah.
You guys listening to MWP, listening to Coast, listening to the local soccer show. Guys, I've not hid my displeasure of how Calcio goes.
You've said this for a long time.
Calcio, ADL took the words from the great Stevie P,
He might have been listening.
and he might have been listening. Calcio will die, guys. If they continue to do business this way, it cannot survive, Fabio. It cannot survive. We're looking at this chart. It's not getting any better. We're not attracting anything nice. Now, to the defense of all the other owners who did not want to go the ADL way, ADL was on the side of, Calcio building their own app. Calcio building their own app, guys, to be very honest with you, with, the track record that Serie A has, I'm a bit scared of having Calcio do anything on their own because I don't trust them. So I wouldn't have gone that way. But the owners all need to start looking at themselves, Fabio, and saying, why are we not attracting more interest? Why are we not? In ADL's little press conference, the little piece that I read, it said, I watched Manchester City, Arsenal, and it was beautiful. And then when I watched the Serie A, it looks like crap. It's presented as crap. Well, that's on you, master owner. That's on you, all the owners. Start fighting back. Start asking them to produce something of a little bit more quality. You give your international rights, EPL, to a station like NBC. Fabio, you know better than I do. NBC is not going to put out crap.
No, it's what you're talking about, Steve, is honestly just them getting the right presentation, because to them, the presentation should still be exactly how it was in 1987. Just everything's in HD now, but no difference. That's the thing, is that it's not just stadiums and infrastructure and everything else. It's even the way you produce and put everything out on television. So there's social media. Some of them need to be arrested and taken off. So you just imagine how they can't get it right at the top with the television rights and the presentation and everything else.
Yeah, guys, it's a bit sad and it's a bit worrisome that we're going down this road, right? And you see the per team, just for the chart. Look at Serie A, and we don't care about anybody else, really. It's double. It's more than double per team that the EPL gets in terms of revenue from the TV deals than Serie A gets per team, right? So I don't know where this is going, right, Fabio? I'm a bit off. I love the way the NBCs, the Foxes, the ESPN, even CBS, guys. Yes, Serie A on this side of the ocean, CBS, they put out some sort of presentation at least, right?
They at least try to give you the pregame,
exactly.
and they're giving you a channel and all this other stuff now. It's coming along, but again, if you want to go to a bar, they have to buy the Paramount Plus. It's not just like simple. At least with the NBC, you could go to NBC and watch it on their channel. Other things, it's not like that anyway. For some reason, they make Serie A very hard to watch. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't. We thank and we do something for Fubu on this channel, which we're greatly appreciated for. Love Fubu here in Canada. Love Fubu here in Canada, but as well, it's another app that people have to purchase, and it's great. Yeah. But we're steering. Fubu needs help on this side of the Atlantic, right? They need help. They need Serie A's, cooperation, and to push the game in Canada for us Canadians, to get that. Whatever we can get in terms of fandom going again, like back in the 90s, where people were leaving their house, Fabio. They were going to the bar and they were watching a satellite that was as big as the roof of your house just to get a channel and maybe color. And now we have it at the tip of our hands, and we're making it so hard for people because we just,
very true.
Serie A and these rights holders need to come together and for the good of the game, for the good of Serie A, to try to make it a little bit better. That's all I wanted to do with this graph.
I agree, because honestly, there's some things that to watch certain sports, even the last the CONCACAF side, or excuse me, the South American side, they were doing like pay-per-view to watch a soccer match. I'm gonna spend $50-$60. You're out of your mind.
No.
But
and you know what, the prices of things that are, you know, in the economy, the way it's going, Fabio, people are going to start looking at their subscriptions. I get it. It's a subscription-based mentality that they want to do, because everything is subscription now.
yeah, a la carte, as they like.
Yeah, a la carte.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, Fabio, you know, if you're picking between bread and a la carte, you know, an a la carte app, at a certain point, you're going to have to choose the bread over the a la carte app, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, definitely.
And people are going to start cutting where they think they've been able to be a little bit more generous with themselves. They're going to start cutting there, and viewership's going to be going down, and morale's going to be going down. And how does the league survive then? I don't know. It's your country. Your country's the key. And I get that. And I get that. Population wise, your country, you know, the United States of America is the key. That's the door that needs to be opened, but not opened a bit, Fabio.
It needs to be kicked.
It needs to be kicked open, completely, and possibly hit the EPL in the face. If you want to really, if you really want to make an impact, it has to be kicked open, hit EPL in the face, and at least have some people trickle over. At least that's what you can do. Unfortunately, Calcio doesn't do a very good job with that portion of it, because we market in Italian. And the United States of America, unfortunately, you need to market in more than Italian, our beautiful language of English that we try to produce here. You have to, because this is the door that needs to be kicked open. And as this one gets kicked open, your neighbors to the north, which is us, are trying to kick open doors as well.
Yeah, and there's a big target right below us too. The Mexicans love football. Come on, get us all on this side. And you know, there's so much to do to get them to the next level that hopefully it's not dying like ADL and UFC. Hopefully they can turn things around and start to do a better product, get new stadiums. I mean, they're supposedly going to have a Euro, sharing with 14 million other countries, because we're not allowed to do one country anymore. Everybody's got to get a piece. So, hey, it is what it is. But we got our Patreons, all right? And listen, if you want to be a Patreon, we haven't mentioned it yet, but let's mention it now, all right? Please subscribe to the Milan Weekly Podcast on YouTube, on Instagram, everywhere you can, but predominantly here. Hit that notification bell so you're up to date with all of our videos. Smash the like button. And definitely subscribe on Patreon if you want to help the channel. It's how we do great things, especially coming pretty soon at the end of the year. Of course, this guy cannot leave me alone, Steve. Even in Patreon, he has to make a message here. Of course, Gio's got to be first. He says, message for Chow, work on your one-on-one defending. Yeah. I must have heard this like 7 times already just in 12 hours. Question for the Italian Stallions. How do you feel that Jovic came on instead of Okafor, which we touched base before? But he said also thoughts on Pobegga's possibly starting the Champions League game.
I don't know what we're going to do in the Champions League game, but I think Pioli needs to figure it out. And, you know, we haven't been able to create anything offensively against Newcastle and against Dortmund, you know, and I'm saying create something offensively. I'm saying bury the chances that we've had. And, you know, the last thing that you want to do, and I'm not a hater on Pobegga or a lover of Pobegga.
Dr. Pobegga.
I'm the type of guy that I want to put people on the pitch that if the ball falls to their foot, I have a better chance of them scoring than not, right? And I think Pobegga has a half decent shot. It's just he's not known for that, right? He's not known for his goal scoring, you know, pedigree. And let's put people on there that if they're at the end of 50-50 chances or half chances, we have at least an attempt on net. Now, watch him start against PSG, and I hope he scores.
I mean, most of the games he started are only the Champions League games, so it seems likely. Even Lab Gorilla, who's our next person, he says, "Would you start Pobega over Adli in PSG?" And it's the rumor that won't go away. So he was asking, does Adli's performance that bad against Juventus, in your opinion? Which you said it was pretty bad.
It's so hard because I find, we waited a year for this guy.
Yeah.
And we all were on the train of let's give him a chance, let's give him a chance, let's give him a chance. We see flashes, Fabio, of someone who could be very dangerous for us and very useful for us.
Yes.
I'm a bit worried that after a year, he's still not adapted to the game. And again, it's a bit on us too and a bit on management because he hasn't played much. So that you made him sit a year and now we need to play him, and it's like he's never played before in Serie A. It's a bit on us and how we integrated him into the team. Am I crazy saying this?
And you surround him with people that he didn't play with even
he
in
never
practice
played
last
with,
year.
exactly. He never played with these guys. So a bit of me wants to give him a chance, but sometimes I see him on the ball, Fabio, and there was, it was a certain point near in the Juve game where they panned down to like a 4K camera, and he was like, he looked like me in my Sunday league. His feet were heavy, and he looked like he was gonna fall and kiss the grass. And I was like, but what's going on here? He drew a foul, but that's a lot of work to do, Fabio, at the byline to draw a foul.
The one against Wea, which
was
like the highlight.
Yeah, it was the highlight. It was like, that's it? I waited a year for this?
Yeah, couldn't get around the guy. Yeah, in the end, he just takes the foul, but nothing really to remember about it.
No, exactly. And I was like, do I give him props because he's not afraid to try a vertical ball or a dangerous through ball, which I think is almost non-existent in the game anymore. I give him props for that. But on the other hand, I need to see more. I need to see a little bit more, a little bit more, even if he's not doing these things, but he plays a clean game. We always say, let's play a clean game where you don't give up the ball too much. If you do, you track back, you win it back. Again, I'm just confused, and I said it before, and I hope people are not misunderstanding me, but I'd rather see reindeers on the ball more than Adli. And I'm afraid, and I'm worried why I'm not seeing reindeers on the ball more than Adli.
I think also too, I don't know, would you think that Theo Hernandez with reindeers and Leao on that side, kind of without Theo there, the creativity of reindeers and those driving runs down the left side, like behind Leao, they're just not there because of Theo?
That's a lot. It's a good point, but I think someone like, Theo and Leao, being people that are more senior on the team, need to figure out a way to get this guy involved because he's going to only make them better and make their lives easier, right? So
yeah. And to me, I didn't think Adli and reindeers are really in the same spot. To me, I see Adli and Krunic would be his replacement. When reindeers is not playing, technically it should be maybe Pobega taking his spot, but it looks like we're probably going to get both of them. That's why John's asking more Pobega over Adli, but at the same time, I think maybe they should be playing at the same time, no?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I don't know about Pobega Adli, but I'd like to see maybe, let's try. Let's see. Because if it's Pobega, I don't think he's going to have the ball like Adli has the ball. And maybe that gives reindeers more of the ball. Does that make him more of a, somewhere where they're going to need to isolate and their team's going to focus on reindeers? Because people know he's good. They know he has quality.
Yeah.
So they're going to be on him.
And for the most part, he's usually a 90-minute guy. They run him out, running him to the ground already with all these games. But we'd like to see that high proficiency passing again, like the beginning of the season. You know. But like honestly, so that's pretty much John's question. Last one is not really a question. It's of course Shane. He's in the corner. He said, "I hope Vince had a great time, even if the result wasn't good." Of course, talking about Vince Mancini, our Patreon, who was live there. Great seats. If you saw the videos, I mean, Vince will share some. If you don't follow him, we're going to share him in the Patreon or on our Instagram too later. But he says on another topic, you know. How glorious was that Krunic assist? This son of a bitch, man. He worded it that I didn't recognize it. Yeah, Krunic, great. I'm so glad you came in to take one off your ass.
Yeah. But the rest was garbage too, right? So we gotta give heck where heck is due. We gotta give them shit when it's shit is due, and we gotta give them props when props, right? I'm all for Krunic when he's invisible because he's doing his job. And, you know, in a game like this coming on, I think this is a little bit on Pioli. He should have kept him off.
We take offense to this. All right.
Yes.
Leave the guy alone. He's been sitting down for like months.
Yeah. He's allowed. Man. What's our excuse? We don't have any knee. We didn't get any knee operations.
Oh, man. All right. So our final segment, of course, for Milan Weekly Podcast, it's Busted Calcio Tweets or takes. We don't know what the hell
we don't know
anymore.
But everybody cries and everybody complains.
Yes, if you have particular complaints that you got to get out, go to that Twitter sphere and start typing your emotions away and we'll find you. First one comes from NO Football. Politano is the best right wing outside the Premier this season. All right. Wonderful work from Raspadori in the build-up and also for the assist also. Politano is the best right winger outside the Premier League this season.
I wonder why Enyo thinks he's the best right winger.
Could it be that blue shirt he's wearing?
Yeah. I think that gives it away. Look, I think he's good. I just think he's another one who's just not consistent. So the best right winger outside of the Prem, wow. I'm pretty sure if we take a couple of minutes, there's a list. I'm also going to put Captain America before Politano, especially this season. I think he's been much better than him.
Yeah, and there's definitely others out there that you can go through. But I like how he take out the Premier League. No, when we say we got the best left winger in the world, we mean it, buddy. But all right, this busted. All right, hat trick, Chris. Is that a Mexican? Yeah, he's a Mexican guy. Okay. Not close, but Pulisic looks like Ronaldinho in that league. Wow. I know I love Captain America, but he's not Ronaldinho. What kind of comment is this?
I don't know. Fabio, we talk about it, Vinny and I, all the time, and I get depressed when I see the views. 3,637 people actually looked at this regurgitation of social media. That's what I'm going to call it. Now, it's probably for clicks. It's probably for likes. So it's in our Busted X. Too bad. If you're listening to that, that's my dryer. My wife decided that you're going to put the dryer on while we
I got the same sound. I
and it doesn't end this one. It just goes. While we talk about this regurgitation of social media,
somebody needs to wash this tweet, get it out.
Yeah, it has to be washed. But comparing anybody to Ronaldinho is
there's not many like him.
You're lacking either a bit of common sense, and I find that Pulisic and Ronaldinho could be almost the furthest away from the similar type of player. So.
Definitely.
I think this is my winner, Fabio.
I think so too. All right, so Carlo got picked up here. Proof Italian authorities are deliberately killing Calcio. Tony, which I don't know. What's the guy's name? Ivan Toney?
Ivan Toney, yeah. He banned 8 months for 332 betting breaches, 29 bets on his own team, 13 of them to lose. Fagioli, 7 months as a plea bargain and never bet on his team. If Fagioli did what Tony did, he'd be banned for 3 years. You know what? Maybe that's on the EPL. Maybe they should have banned Tony more. But the EPL does a great job of taking something like this, squashing it, banning him for 8 months, and putting it way, 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 way in the corner of all their fantastic production so that no one talks about it till now. And the only reason why we're talking about Ivan Toney is because, one, his ban's almost over, and two, we're in our own shit. But no, the Italians, what we do is, it's not the Italian authorities, Carlo. And you know what? I hope you see this. It's the Italian media that deliberately killing Calcio. Because they gave, like I said last week, primo piano. You know, if you'd watched Serie A on Rai in the 90s, it was primo piano per Totti. That means close-up of Totti. Well, the whole goddamn Italian media gave Corona a massive close-up. A massive close-up. Instead of using that information to help these kids, because they are kids, they used it to get clicks, to get views, to get TV ratings. You know, and I said earlier, you know, when we talked about El Shaarawy, I felt bad for him. Because this guy, Corona, drags his name through the mud, and El Shaarawy is found not guilty. No proof that El Shaarawy bet. And same with the Lazzali kid. I think it's Caselli. He too got dragged through the mud. So now if Corona is coming up with this type of stuff, what's to say he didn't exaggerate the Fagioli and the Tonali stuff? Now, they came out and said that, yes, they did bet. Well, let's ban them, right? You know, I saw something really good on social media, surprisingly, Fabio, from Sky Sports, and I completely forgot to write down who it was. It was someone who was talking and saying, you know, we keep on banning these players. You know, like Ivan Toney, banned 8 months. Fagioli is going to be banned 7 months. Tonali looks like he's going to get 10 months to a year. But these are guys, Fabio, that make $100K a week and have a gambling problem. $100K a week, Fabio. And everybody out there, let that sink in. $100K a week. $100K a week.
It's money. That's otherworldly money.
Otherworldly money, right?
Yeah.
So we're feeling bad for these guys. And he continues to go on and he says, what about the guy in the 4th division who has the gambling problem? Where he doesn't make $100K a week. He makes maybe $1,000 a week. Yeah, you could easily say, you know, he shouldn't be gambling. But let's help him. Let's give him an avenue to come out where he's not ridiculed, where he's not made fun of, where he's not used as clickbait, where he's not used for views, where he's gotten the help. The drug users and the alcoholics, we give them help. We put them on, we give them therapy sessions, and they're not banned, right, Fabio?
Yeah. No, but I think the difference is, and especially in particular incidences like this, if you have a gambling addiction, we understand where that's coming from. But if you're playing cards, if you have a craps problem, you go play roulette, you're at the casino too much. The problem is when you start to initiate betting on the sport, which then in turn starts to give everybody the illusion that the games and the results are not definitive, or they're not I guess
they're not true to
exactly.
the purity of the sport.
Exactly. Now this thought is lingering in your mind, but this is unfortunately, you know, the sports and the teams and the leagues, everything, they're all in cahoots with the betting now, but it's up to the player. And my only issue is that Fagioli, if the stories are true, all right, it's not that you get 7 months and you pled. You squealed. You squealed like the rat that you were because you were in danger because you said some guy was going to break your knees. You know what, motherfucker? Take your penalty and keep your mouth shut. You ratted on other players of the national team, disgraced the whole country. I mean, Fagioli's something else. That's all I'm saying. Is that like he wanted to bring down Tonali, Zaniolo maybe was going to get in trouble, but his mother, supposedly the mother's involved. Whatever the hell that's going on. But Fagioli, no, that he bet on the soccer games too. I mean, Sandro, I don't hear anything. Sandro was out of control. I think after they started to talk to him, then he was like, "Oh fuck, you got me already." Whatever, fine. So to me, I think Fagioli's a piece of shit. So he gets my winner for busted Calcio, because this is not I know Carlo's a Juventine. He probably feels, oh, it's always the Juve. They always got to drop the hammer on us. Give me a break, man. He was betting on games, crying on the sideline. I don't know if Gatti was in. He scored an own goal. I don't know, Steve.
No, but Gatti's the one. Fagioli owes Gatti $40K. So
yeah, or a nice watch. I don't know how they
Yeah.
were paying for things or whatever. All right, so I know you like this one. Obviously, Politano, best right wing. Who do you think is the winner here?
For me, it's Pulisic. It looks like Ronaldinho.
All right, hat trick, Chris, buddy. Congratulations. You are the winner of this week's Lupo Award, courtesy of Jan. All right, guys. If you want to be a part of this, if you see other Calcio tweets out there that are ridiculous and out of this world, please tag Busted Calcio. He will see it. Make sure Jan gets some work. Jan's very busy saving Canada. He's doing great things up there. But
Captain Canada.
Yes, we got our own on the channel. What's better than that? All right, guys. So Steve, any last things before we wrap this up?
I really, 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 really want to see a performance against PSG. I know we don't want to talk about it. We'll talk about it. You and Gio will hit it up on Coast to Coast after the game, before the game, and so on. So check them out, guys, on Wednesday. I can't digest this, Fabio. It's really something that's bothering me. Like, I didn't think we were going to lose to Juve. I really never go into a game very confident or cocky. I just watch it even keel and see how it plays out. I'm just disappointed and disgusted that we lost to this Juve team. And I hope that, we can pick ourselves up and get some points at Parc des Princes. And then in November, when PSG comes and visits us, and I think it's November 4th, if I'm not mistaken, we pick up the points. And I think, the mission now should be to qualify for Champions League.
I agree. And honestly, I know people, we got to get 4 points in the next 2 games and start throwing numbers out. I said, no, we need 3 points from the first game. Because if we again go 0-0, which is, if you want to put some money on the game, put $5 on 0-0.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's going to happen to us. But anyway, I'm just saying, if Milan doesn't come with the right fire and determination to finish their chances, we're going to have to start directing our vision possibly away from the Champions League and Europe in general, I think, if you want to really push for the Scudetto. But this is the game here. You have to do it. I thought you were going to say something.
I'm gutted by this weekend. And I hope it doesn't spill over into the midweek games. That's what I could say.
I know, but listen, Theo Hernandez, Mike Mignon, they're gonna be back. We're gonna have the most full roster that we can. Hopefully we can catch this PSG just in bad sorts, and we can get the 3 points. We need this Milan to come up big. Guys, me and Stevie appreciate you watching the whole way. We're over an hour here. Everybody in the chat watching, we appreciate you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want, come be a part. There's probably going to be a Patreon chat pregame on Wednesday with Vinny. And, of course, me and Gio.
Before we sign off, Fabio, I just want to give a shout out. And I forgot to do this at the beginning of the show, but it's good it's at the end of the show. We can send it to them. If you guys have a chance, you follow our friends at For All Humankind United. So if you abbreviate that, it's fuck you. And they make sweaters and T-shirts and hoodie. And what's crazy about this is, they're able to donate the proceeds of their of some of their profits to a charitable donation. And for this coming month, the month of November, it's to mental health, right? So it's to mental health. And they do fantastic. The team there at For All Humankind United, they are doing fantastic. If you're in Montreal, it's on November 4th. Check them out. Follow them on Instagram. You'll get all the details. $40 ticket to a love culture Love Culture is kind of like not your regular type of fundraiser. So they do some great stuff. Please follow everybody there. And please, guys, if you can, there's GoFundMe, donate, buy a t-shirt, buy a hoodie. They're fantastic. They're very comfortable. And again, I just try to shout out a little bit of local stuff at the end or at the beginning of the podcast, because that's what we do here at Milan Weekly Podcast.
That's right. We're all about the local. I'm just going to say one more thing before we peace out. New York City, Legends Bar, Football Factory. I will be there for the Champions League game. This is the home of Milan and the PSG fan club. So we need as many Milanista to come. Try to get there as early as you can. It's Manhattan. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be packed. But the club will be there. I will be there. Come say hello if you're there. We're going to be taking pictures, hanging out all night, probably a few hours after the game. So come through. Make sure I'm wasted. I might be late for Coast to Coast Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Steve, it's been an honor and a pleasure, buddy. Ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan!
Peace out, everybody. Good night.